So there's always two types of people. In this context, people who read and people who don't. Some way, somehow, I just found this book very interesting and wanted to share with you guys. Hi everyone, my name is Anna, and today with us we have Liyana, the author of Homeless, to share with us more about the homeless landscape in Singapore.
Hi everyone, my name is Liyana and I am the author of Homeless, the untold story of a mother's struggle in crazy rich Singapore. Aside from that, I'm also an entrepreneur and I am an aspiring parliamentarian. Yeah.
Cool, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
I think before we dive deep into like the issue, we just want to know more for those who don't really have any background about the homeless, like what is it like in terms of like the landscape based on your experience?
So from my own life experience, it has been like a decade ago. I used to be sleeping rough or was homeless and sleeping in a tent by Sembawang Beach. However, what I did now after pulling myself out of my own rock bottom and then building myself up along with my family, and I made it a point from now and then to come back to the parks to just stroll around and see if there are any other families or other individuals who are homeless. But it is upsetting to see that there are many individuals and families still sleeping rough in various parts of Singapore, not only just the parks or the beach alone, or not only in the central, the CBD states of Singapore. It's still happening to this day. So that is why it actually also spurs me or motivate me to write this book. This book got published sometime in 2019, and we had a national study conducted after a few months after that, and having the number of 1,000 people still sleeping rough, that is one of the things that I find is still a prevalent issue to date.
I see. Could you share with us more about what is it like the daily routine of a person being homeless like in Singapore?
Okay, from my own experiences and the people who I know of, usually what they will do is every morning they will wake up way earlier than usually all of us who are staying in our own homes to wake up, because they would like to stay in the shadows, right? So they will wake up normally around 4+, 5+ in the wee hours in the
really
morning.
Early.
Yes, and to refresh themselves, it's either that they go to the public toilet, or some of them might even pay $1 to have a good shower in the swimming complex, for example. Some of them even go to recreational clubs if they have like memberships there, or they have friends who have memberships there, to use the facilities as well. So that's how they start their day, and then subsequently after that they will do their own normal routine, at which some of them who holds a job will go to work, or for some who are not working, they will try to source for help, go to various agencies, or maybe family and friends, and they might also go to look for jobs on their own to have the income or whatever cash that they can find. So normally, especially for us ladies, right, when we have the time of the month, what I know, back then when I was homeless, I was pregnant, but I do know of other families who have younger ladies in their homes, and when it comes to the time of the month, they will go to the public toilet. They will take more of the the toilet rolls, and then stack it up and then use that as their pads if they cannot afford to buy any. Other than that, they may use strips of towels where they will cut the towels and fold, so that the towels can be reusable. After they wash it, they dry it, and they can use it again. So that's how normally they tackle.
I think there's also these safety concerns, because as far as I know, the demographic of people who are homeless are mostly like older males. So like how will the safety of the female homeless people be?
Yeah, that has been an issue even when a while back when I was homeless back then, and I know of the other families, right? So we usually keep a lookout for each other, as if we were to shower in the public toilet, especially in the parks, right? There are there are open areas at the top part of the shower facilities, and there could be peeping toms over there. That's one. Secondly, there are people who might be drunk, strangers, park goers who might be drunk, and they will try to do something frisky with other ladies. So normally when there are homeless people, right, we keep a lookout for each other. But if it's an individual and it happens to be a female, it will be much more dangerous. So she tends to be much more rougher. She tends to be much more tough in her exterior, just to ward off all of these, unnecessary problems.
I think this is just like a personal question. But then back in the days when you were rough sleeping, right? I'm not too sure, like, how would you react if like a stranger were to approach you saying that they want to help you, that kind of thing? Will you be very against them? Like, do you have any motive helping me?
Yes, exactly. If I were to be someone who an external, okay, let's just take for example my case with the strangers who approached me and asked about my stories, right? I was reluctant to tell them because I have tried various ways through the main channels of seeking help in our country to find help, but none was offered. So if you were to ask me, a stranger were to come and ask and offer help just out of the blue, I will be reluctant. I would question their motives. I would not even want to know what their intentions are. I will tend to be much more withdrawn and defensive, because one thing about us being homeless, we have to be discreet about our situation. One, we need to stay in the shadows, as we do not want to invite any external attention on us. Why is that so? It's because we can have the next day or even the next night where authorities come to us and just chase us out of where we are at. So it's important, especially for the homeless, to stay in the dark or stay in the shadows to avoid these kind of issues where it is an additional problem to us, apart from whatever that we are facing at a particular moment of time. I mean, if a stranger were to approach me at that point of time, I would say, no, I'm not homeless. I'm just a park goer and all that. I would not confess that I am in need of help.
Okay, so I think when I was trying to do a project to help the homeless, right, what me and my friends found it difficult was that we can't really tell if a person was homeless or not. And then especially when we go to places where there are a mix of residents and rough sleepers, we could only tell when the person is sleeping. And if that's the case, if like a youth or like someone who wants to help the homeless, what kind of tips would you like give them in terms of like how do they approach a rough sleeper in Singapore?
And how you identify them as well, right? So number one, identification is to see if they have bags around them. So that is one of the telltale signs that a person might not just just resting at a bench. That's number one. Number two is the timing as well, because rough sleepers or homeless people will normally lurk at the residence, example, way late at night. So it can be like 11 past 12 midnight in the wee hours in the morning. They tend to only sleep then because a lot of the other residents are already in their own homes. So they have spaces where it is vacant. There are spaces where it's not being utilized, where they can rest their heads. So that's one. So normally if a young person such as yourself would like to do some outreach event, you will tend to need to go to all of these places late at night. So it's like above 10 p.m. That is where you can identify who are the people who are homeless. Secondly, how to approach them is, of course, conversation starter like what you've already done, the packs and all that, to extend it to them. That is one way. Of meals, because we don't know when was the last time that they had a decent meal. So bring food, bring care packs to them, make that as a conversation starter. Just say that, okay, the only thing that rough sleepers would not want to know is that, we are here to help you. No, do not say that. What you can do instead is just say, hi, how are you? I just have this extra food. Would you mind if I were to give you this? Because I just have extra. So just I don't know, call it what you may, like white lie or something, but not to make it as a point as if it is an obligation for you to give because you are in the mode of wanting to help them, when you do not know whether they want the help from you or not, right, in the first place. So make it as a point where you are befriending them, at which you are trying to get to know them, so that they will be much more trusting, they can develop the rapport with you, and then they will open up themselves.
I see.
So building the trust is key and important, but at the same time, you don't just approach any individuals out there and thinking that they want the help or they need the help. Give them some time to open up to you, and the way or the methods that you approach them needs to be with empathy and as a friend. Yeah.